Hello. Well, the results are in. I finally got my first power bill after setting up and getting my hot tub running. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of cover the additional increase that I ended up getting from my power bill with the different variables that, you know, to give you guys as much information as possible so you can kind of, you know, maybe gauge things a little bit. So my first power bill increase came in, and between last month, where I didn't have the hot tub at that time and so it wasn't set up and running at all, and this month where I had it up and running about 2 to 3 days into the billing cycle, my difference in power bill was $24.08. It went up by that much. So, you know, which realistically, you know, $24.08, when you consider the power that it draws and everything else, really isn't that bad, all things considered. You know, even people who run 220, the big, huge tubs, hard side tubs, inside, indoors, are still in any given month going to spend at least $20 or more on in a power increase from their hot tubs. So $24.08. Now, I do want to cover and clarify that I do live in the Pacific Northwest, so we tend to get power a bit cheaper than a lot of people do in other parts of the country, and certainly a lot of other countries in the world. So my average kilowatt hour rate here, between the two different rates that my power company charges for various different things, comes out to an average of about 8.3 cents per kilowatt hour. So I'm just giving that out there just so you kind of have a reference. Obviously, double check, you know, before you buy a hot tub, double check your kilowatt hour rate, and that'll kind of give you a better idea of what to expect. So 8.3 cents per kilowatt hour is what I pay. Weather in my area during this period with which I have had my tub up and running, it's ranged a fair bit because I tend to have, you know, my area tends to get, you know, kind of a wide range of temperatures. So it's probably about half the time it's been in that 50 to 60 degree range. And the other half of the time it's probably been somewhere between 70 and 90 degrees, so a lot hotter there. So anyways, I don't want somebody to get the idea that, you know, 24.8 cents per bill is what they're going to pay if they decide to run this thing out in 20 degree freezing weather, okay? 20 degree Fahrenheit weather, okay? So anyways, you know, I'm just putting that out there for reference just so that people have an understanding that it's been, you know, moderately chilly to hot in my area during this billing cycle, which of course can affect your tub as far as how much the heater has to run. Now, the other thing that's really interesting here is that I did this time around, I've left the hot tub on all the time. I never, you know, I used to go ahead and turn it off and just run it during the heat of the day and let it warm up again, and then turn it off at night and then turn it back on. And it was a real pain. So I tried it this time around just to see how well it did, if it was more efficient for it to just simply maintain temp. And, you know, thus far, it really hasn't made a huge impact in my bill. So I'm going to say at this point, I'm going to just leave it on and just see where it goes from here. And I will probably do some more update videos. Now, my air conditioner on my house definitely can affect the power bill because, you know, it's a fairly good sized unit. And it has been running probably about half the month, you know, as far as on and off, you know, trying to maintain the temperature given the various degrees of difference there have been between, you know, the cooler weather and then the hotter weather that's been had during this billing cycle. So anyways, so keep in mind that 24.8 cents also includes the air conditioner running a bit more. So I would say roughly the hot tub is probably added, I would guess, between, I don't know, about $12 and $15 this billing cycle. Now, I will probably do some additional videos and just kind of, you know, keep it running through the season that I have it up. I generally don't run my tub in the winter just because the cost tends to be astronomical. And of course, my temperatures in my area tend to get pretty pretty cold during the winter time. You know, we're not just talking about, you know, the folks in England who are maybe getting, you know, 30 to 40 degree weather in the winter time. You know, we're talking, you know, 20 degrees Fahrenheit or below. So anyways, it gets a bit chilly, but anyway, it's just one of those things where, you know, for folks who are trying to take a look at the various different variables that can affect a person's power bill, these are my findings based on that. In addition, about halfway into this billing cycle, I did end up getting one of those spa blankets, you know, those blue bubble mat insulators that go on top of the water surface that help keep temperature and help insulate. So I did do that. And, you know, what I did was I cut it to size and then I tucked it up in the lid so that when I put the lid down, it rests perfectly right on top of the water. And that way I don't have to sit there and pull the mat out every single time that I decide to go ahead and use the tub. So get the best of both worlds there is that it's out of the way, but it's still insulating and doing its job when I put the lid on. So anyway, so that's what I've ended up doing. And these are just, I'm trying to account for the variables here to give people the best amount of information that they can have when they're trying to get a ballpark idea. So once again, check for sure, you need to know what your kilowatt rate per kilowatt hour is, or if you have a flat rate or whatever it is that you have, figure out what your rate is. Take a look at what the specs are on your given hot tub's pump between the heater and the air jets, and that way you can kind of at least get a rough estimate of what to expect. And that's all I've got, and thanks for watching.